Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So my name is Paulo and today we're going to be closing on this series, this amazing series where we went through the topic of how much can you actually earn, and during that same we covered the Netherlands, Belgium, the UK and also Spain. Okay, so today we're going to be closing then with Portugal. All of those 5 countries were countries where I used to live or I'm still living. Okay, so with that said, and if you miss out on any of the above, feel free to click on the link and get access to those videos. And if you want to know more about working abroad as well, I'm going to be dropping a few also tips around that, and specifically on the case of Portugal, I'm going to be talking also, generally speaking, how much can you actually expect to earn in Portugal. Okay, but today the main focus is of course around customer relationship management, aka CRM. The reason for this is that Salesforce, the economy of Salesforce, it's expected to generate roughly 9.3 million jobs. Okay, and I'm quite keen to share with you how is it that you can actually get a piece of that pie and get one of those jobs. Okay, so stick around for more. Okay, so before we jump into the money part, okay, let's give a bit of context and background. So I'm going to be addressing then the roles, the tracks, let's say, that you can actually expect to get within the world of CRM. Okay, so if any of you guys actually went through my previous videos and you are looking to understand a bit more on the tracks, this is going to be quite similar to the ones that I already covered. So for those, I will just pause and wait for them to fast track. Okay, so with that said, I'm going back to those that never heard anything about this. So with that said, so I've been working on Salesforce CRM since 2012, give or take, and looking into this, I would say that and specifically with and looking at Portugal, you can expect four main roles, let's say, within this area of CRM. And for that, I'm going to give you a bit of the background so that you can better connect to your profiles, to your passion, so that you do a wise choice. Okay, so this is relevant for those that are looking for change on careers. They are looking for to evolve within those same careers. Either way, I think it makes sense for you to stick around. Okay, so let's start with the very beginning. So to start from, we have the admin path. Okay, so the track within the admin. What is expected for a Salesforce admin to do? Essentially, you should be expecting to take care of training, troubleshooting, problems within the org or then within the platform. That's the name that we give within Salesforce. But essentially, you should be focusing on that. Also, in a bit of more, I would not call it advanced, meaning configurations, but on some cases, yes, you'll need to be touching more advanced configurations and automations, such as process builders or even flows. Okay, so that's the expectation for someone that actually works within the admin area as part of the CRM. Also, one thing that is important for you to know is that is expected that you understand a bit of business, that you can actually help out with the training part, as I mentioned before. And for that, it's fundamental that you actually understand a bit of business. And by business, I mean marketing, sales, or service. Okay, so moving forward, so what is it that we have next? So we are talking about developers. Okay, so as most of you are most likely aware, developers are as hot as fire, between brackets. Okay, so meaning in terms of demand, there is more and more demand around developers, and that is also the case within the CRM world. Okay, so what is it that you expect to do as a developer? So it's expected that you actually do code. Okay, then do Apex. Also, aside from that, it's expected that you also do, for instance, or take care of more advanced configurations, or even automations such as flows, or even other solutions such as auto components, visual force, and things like that. Okay, so essentially it's expected for you to take care of the technical part. Okay, moving forward, then we have the consultants. Okay, the consultants are without a doubt more and more in demand. Okay, and you have essentially two type of consultants that are growing more in demand. I'll give a bit of that within the how much can you earn part next to this one. So a consultant is expected, and before I actually say that, so the two types of consultants that are getting more traction is around the marketing side due to all the digital transformation. So marketing is getting more and more money, let's say, and importance, okay, and it's growing a lot. But aside from that is also the sales consultants, okay, this in connection to CRM, of course. Related to this, it's expected that you actually understand business, understand the functionality, and propose the best possible approach that you help to drive the client. And essentially, it's also expected that you gather requirements, propose high-level solutions, and that you build a bridge between the more technical people within the team and also the customer in itself, okay, together with the project manager. Okay, moving forward, talking about the architects, okay. Here within the architects, you have essentially two types of architects that are getting more traction, of course. We are talking about the solution architects and the technical architects, okay? Globally speaking, you have 1,600 architects certified, that is, and from this, the output is that you have roughly around 500. So reason why within Salesforce we say that the architects are the 1% of people that are essentially certified within this landscape, okay? So with that said, okay, this essentially closes up this part of the tracks, and the main tracks are the ones that I mentioned, those four, okay? So stick around for the next one where we're actually talking about money, okay? Okay, let's then talk about money. So how much can you actually expect to earn in Portugal? Okay, so before we jump into the details of the CRM world, a bit of background. So Portugal has an average salary of roughly 18,000 euros a year. Okay, so that translates into roughly 1,400 and something a month. Okay, so with that said, you may ask or raise the question, so is it worth it to actually to go to Portugal? I would say definitely yes. Okay, so I'll give you my reason why. So if you compare the average salary of Portugal with, let's say, the neighbor Spain, yes, the salary is lower, okay, but if you look into the details, okay, so Portugal has going through year-on-year growth of roughly 3%, okay, on the last year. So that actually translates the growth of the country, okay. So it's like mirroring exactly that. But then if you look a bit more into the details as well, okay, so the cost of living in Portugal, it's essentially lower than most European countries, with a few exceptions, or vice versa. Let's put it like this. So if you want to go and having a dandy life, let's say, of going out, having dinners, lunches, and so forth, Portugal is actually a very accessible country. Okay, so the life outdoors is actually quite cheap in comparison to most countries. Then you're going to come across a few more difficult points, or in connection, let's say, with the parity of most European countries. So that is around housing, that is getting more and more expensive. But also there will be another set of topics that you need to pay attention to, that is around, for instance, the cost of utilities such as electricity and so forth, okay, that normally speaking are more expensive. Why? Because essentially Portugal is non-nuclear, man. So it's 100%, let's say, as much as possible connected to nature. It's one of the countries with highest actually sustainable energy, mostly from alternative. So it's and they are quite powerful in terms of sustainability and technology as well. Looking into that area, they are actually one of the top dogs across the globe. Okay, so going back then into the CRM world. Okay, so how is it that working on CRM compares then to the average salary in Portugal. Okay, so in a nutshell, it's higher. Okay, so but let's go a bit then into the details. Okay, so before we actually do that, and I think that is also relevant just to share with you another point that I feel that is quite important if you think on going to Portugal to work, is the fact that Portugal has a very good infrastructures across the board, transportations, roads, infrastructures around internet, web, etc. is very strong. It's quite powerful in terms in comparison to most of the countries that I used to live. It's, I would say, most likely the most powerful. Okay, so in connection to that, also the other point that is important for you to understand are the people, okay, and everything around that, and in more details you can find it on the link above. Okay, let's go then into money. Okay, so looking at CRM, so the expectation is looking at the admin track. Okay, so I want to try to connect that to what I spoke on the previous part of this video, is that you should be expecting roughly around, and this to start is a big range, okay, but that's the market. So you should expect for you to get between 15,000, okay, if you are more of a junior architect, up to the 25,000, okay. And then if you move more towards a more senior admin, it's expected for you to get actually around roughly 35K and plus. Okay, so that's it with regards to the admin track. So if you look into the developers, so the expectation is that you're going to be starting a bit higher, so on the 30K mark. Okay, and it's expected that if you become more of a senior developer and you are able to grow, it's possible that you're going to get up to the 50K. Okay, so then going to the next track, and I'm talking about the consultant. So the consultant, normally speaking, you have a split between the Salesforce Sales Cloud and then also the Marketing Cloud. But in a nutshell, you're gonna have a starting point around the 28K, okay, and you can grow up to the 45K, 50K if you become really top dog in terms of consultancy. Okay, then to close, we have the architects. Okay, so the architects, normally speaking, they start around roughly 35, 40K if you are more of a junior architect. Okay, and you can move up to the 80K. Okay, so that is essentially the summary around how much you can actually earn in Portugal, taking into consideration that the market is actually growing faster and faster, and you're getting more and more companies from outside actually moving to Portugal due to the climate and due also to the awesome talent that you actually have there. Aside from that is a paradise for digital nomads, due to the meaning everything, meaning the food, the people, the landscape, the infrastructure, everything works really nice in terms of technology there. Okay, so that sums this up. Okay, hopefully it was an interesting one. Stick around for the bonus track. Okay, to close then the bonus track. So today, nothing more to say aside from the fact that I would like to thank you very much for those that went through the series of actually how much can you actually earn abroad. Okay, so if you did miss out on the previous countries, I'll drop them on the link above. Okay, and if you have any questions whatsoever with regards to CRM, but aside from that, how is it to live on the countries such as the Netherlands, Belgium, UK, Spain, or Portugal? Just give me a shout. Okay, I'm happy to help. Okay, and for that and much more, just crush the button. Okay, smash the button and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and join me on this journey. Okay, that's it. Take care. Peace.